if you say a cuss word within the first like 2 minutes, apparently like blocks your video.
Interesting.
So we can't leave that in. But
shoot,
Alan said a cuss word to start off the video. That's what we're gonna start off with.
Is that a cuss word?
I think YouTube might. We'll say it in the next 2 minutes because YouTube has a little block on videos that say cuss words within the first 2 minutes. So we'll share that cuss word with you at the 2 minute mark. So stay tuned. But welcome back, everybody. This is episode number 70. Got over the hump of 69 and we're here. This is the start of the second round. This episode's coming to you guys on Tuesday. We recorded this last night for you guys watching to stay current for you guys because that's what we're about. We're here for you guys.
Even though we're going to miss game one of the the Toronto Panthers series.
Right. We're missing that one, but we don't want to be here super late and up late because we got work in the morning. Mm-hmm. So,
I don't.
However, if you'd like us to get to that point, hit that link below. Go buy some merch from us. Support the boys. None of that money goes back into drugs or alcohol or anything like that. It doesn't. It goes into just supporting the show. So we'll be grateful help if you go down and buy some merch from us. Click that link below. Use the code GOHP15. You'll get 15% off your order. But yeah, thanks for clicking on this video. Thanks for watching for us today. We've got a fun one. We're going to be talking about the second round and some first round matchups. But first, hit that subscribe button. Trying to hit 100 subs before the end of playoffs. So if you're new, hit subscribe. If you're watching, returning, welcome back. Love to have you. But first things first, Alan, how was your week?
My week was good. I didn't do a whole lot. Went to work. What else did I do? Slept at my girlfriend's house the last couple nights.
Nice.
It's kind of annoying sleeping at my girlfriend's house because I have to bring a ton of stuff over, and like when she sleeps at my house, same thing.
Yeah.
It's like
you bring a dog too.
Yeah. So it's like
little doggy sleepover.
It'd be a whole lot easier if we just moved in together, but
here we are. Yeah,
that's basically it. Made some sourdough.
Ooh, hell yeah!
Turned out good.
You make sourdough pizza?
No, not yet. Still haven't done that. We have the starter is what it's called. So I'm gonna at some point. I just haven't yet.
Oh, yeah.
Haven't gotten around to it.
That's 25, folks. This is 25. Sourdough. Yeah. So I did something funny this weekend. So we had a bike bar or Buzz Bus. If you guys don't know what that is, it's like an open top bus where you can drink on. It's pretty awesome. Super nice out on Saturday. And then we go back. And it was for our friend's birthday. Now, she is a graduated gymnast from Boise State. So she has a lot of friends that were on the gymnastics team. And we were at their house afterwards, pre-gaming for downtown, having fun, playing some games outside, enjoying the weather. Then it started raining because it's what it is here in Boise.
Oh, the weather was
in May.
Weird.
Yeah, during the day it was super sunny, and then at night it just started raining. I'm outside. It was like a cowboy theme, so I'm wearing these boots that are like, they're not like work boots. They're like almost dancing boots where they have the front or the sole on the front is smooth. Mm-hmm. It's raining out. And my friends have this staircase that goes from the kitchen down to the living room. Everyone, and I mean everyone, is in the kitchen playing games and stuff. Again, gymnastics, Division I athletes, women, I go down the stairs after walking outside. I'd gotten like chips from someone and like potato chips. And I was walking down the stairs. I think I was going to the bathroom or something. Eat shit. Just totally fall down the stairs. The chips go flying up in the air. And I just like had to lay down at the bottom of the stairs and be like, I cannot get up right now. There are 30 women back there that all just witnessed me eat shit down a staircase. And my back, like, I don't know what I did. Something with the muscle in my back or something. Because at certain points, if I laugh, if you hear me moan, it's from that injury. Because I'm not kidding you. Like, yeah.
That's awesome.
Really embarrassing. And then I got up and someone was like, yeah, I think Sean was crying down there. I was like, no, I wasn't. I was just embarrassed and didn't want to get up.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that was my weekend. Other than that, watched some great hockey games.
Oh, absolutely.
Some great game sevens. Did you watch? I watched the Winnipeg and Blues one. I didn't get to watch the Stars one because I was busy falling downstairs. But
so I didn't watch either, but I kept up with both of them on my phone. And start off with the Stars. Mikko Rantanen hat trick in the third period.
What a guy.
A couple stats about that.
Yeah.
First ever, well, I have one stat about that. First ever Game 7 hat trick in the third period. That's an ESPN-ass stat. But for a guy who, for the most part, did not show up throughout the series, that is quite a way to cap it off against your former team.
Yeah.
First of all, sealing the comeback. Second of all, sealing the fate of your former team.
Yep.
Insane. That I think it was Wyatt Johnston tied it up or scored the game winner.
Yeah, he did.
Like 4 minutes left on the power play. It was like a tic-tac-toe play. Mikko Rantanen up 4 points.
Yeah.
In that third period. Just an insane game. Insane game. Hats off to you, Mikko Rantanen.
Dude, yeah, because like I was talking with our friend Scott. Shout out you, Scott, the fellow listener.
He's my roommate.
But we were talking about Mikko Rantanen, and we were just like, man, like that trade just sucks for the Stars. Like Mikko hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
And that was the game. Like he had left, and that was the game that Mikko then scored. I think his first goal in the playoffs with the Stars. And then that just led on to him going off. And like
he had
it
4
wasn't even
points
just us
in game
talking
6
shit.
too.
Like, the entire NHL media has been kind of not slandering, but like talking down on him, being like, this guy's not doing anything for them. He needs to show up for the Stars is why they're losing the series. And like, even then, what's crazy to me is just the overall, like, it's just heartbreaking for the Avs, frankly.
Yeah.
And Nathan McKinnon said it best. He was like, they're missing 2 of their best players and we still couldn't win. Yeah. Like, I don't know what there is to do. And I don't know what do you think Colorado has to do now? If there is anything.
Retool?
Yeah. Back to the drawing board?
I think because they've been making moves at the deadline the last couple of years and they haven't been working out.
Yeah.
I think you really do have to kind of go back to the drawing board a little bit, keep the core around. Yep. Obviously, you're not getting rid of Nathan McKinnon. You're not getting rid of Cale Makar. You're not getting rid of Gabe Landeskog.
Yeah.
There's a couple other guys that are probably untouchable on that team.
Devon Taves.
Valerie Nichushkin. Other than that, though, I think you kind of have to figure out, like at some point, you don't want to be stuck in this trap where you're like, we have a great team, we're going to run it back, but we play, as of right now, in the best division in hockey.
Yeah.
And
playoff format.
Frankly, we're lined up to play one of the best or one of the better teams in the West.
Yep.
Yes, if they had ended a little higher in the standings over Winnipeg, they would have played the Blues. And I think, over Dallas and Winnipeg, they would have played the Blues. And I think that's a different series and a different outcome. They're probably in the second round after a quick series with the Blues.
Yeah.
The thing is, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
You're probably ended up 2 or 3 because Dallas is a legit good team. They will be for years. And Winnipeg is a legit good team.
Yeah.
No matter what Connor Hellebuyck does in the playoffs. We'll get to that. Yeah. You kind of have to take a step back and realize we're probably playing one of the best teams in the NHL every series for next at least 3 or 4 years. We have to figure something out to where we're not acquiring pieces at the deadline to try and figure out what's going to bolster our team, whereas you go into a season knowing we're going to be better than the Jets, we're going to be better than the Stars.
Yeah.
You have to do that at some point. And there's teams chomping at the bit in that Central Division to make a playoff spot. And you don't want to be in the situation where you have 2 or 3 really, really, really good players and you're wasting their primes after one Stanley Cup win.
Yeah.
So I think a retool might be the best option. You need to refigure out your depth, not pick up old guys at the deadline like Brock Nelson. No offense to Brock Nelson. Charlie Coyle can't be your 3rd, 4th best player on the ice. And expect to win a series against the Dallas Stars, even with 2 guys gone.
Yeah. No,
they really just have to retool and figure out their depth. Funny enough, we were just talking about this last week, how their depth looks the same. Yeah. When I was all, Colorado's going to go on to play in the Stanley Cup final, and they're going to play Tampa. Stupid predictions by me.
Yeah, well, okay.
But
let me say something first, because, this is to you guys watching and listening. And frankly, like, the tough thing about the playoffs is, like, we can sit here and spend an hour talking about all these matchups, all this stuff, with the knowledge that we know about the game of hockey and what these players can do. At the end of the day, not that you should click off or anything, but like none of like some of these predictions are like they're so incredibly tough to pick, especially out of the West. Mm-hmm. I think the East is a little bit more clear cut, and I think we got most of those except for that Florida Tampa one, which is one of the only ones where it's like kind of a toss up, and maybe the Leafs, but you can't not doubt the Leafs in the first round. Sorry. Yeah. But like with all these, like the playoff format and just how these teams play in the playoffs, there's no telling how these series are going to go. Same with the Kings and Oilers. Like we were wrong about, the Kings winning in 7. We were wrong about that. But guess what? The Kings were up 2-0 at one point. Yeah. They were on fire, and they could have definitely, maybe played a little bit differently. Games could have gone a different way, but that's the playoffs. Mm-hmm. There's no correct bracket out there. I'm sure there's a couple, but like you're just kind of going off of like what you think. And same with regular season. Yeah. Because the Senators were 4-0 against the Toronto Maple Leafs in the regular season. So who do you pick? Yeah. I would take the Senators. They beat them 4 times in the regular season.
I did take the Senators.
We did.
My bracket's fucked.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people's brackets are because the West, especially the West, was so tough to figure out. I mean, if you took the favorites, I guess you were probably pretty correct. But who wants to do that? That's kind of lame. And like there's so many switch ups and the West was just a tough conference to guess anything. So just because we're wrong doesn't mean we're stupid. Yeah. Kings had a chance. Yeah. They were up 2-0. Some games, I want to say some of them went to overtime. Yeah.
I think 2 of them did.
And again, we also said too that the Oilers could literally just turn it on like that. Yeah. And granted, it wasn't from McDavid or Draisaitl, I don't think. It was their bottom depth scoring, which is crazy.
That was the shocking part about that series is McDavid and Draisaitl, I think, let me look here real quick.
Someone commented and said that.
McDavid had 11 points, Draisaitl had 10 in 6 games. So they both played well. Yeah. But like the scoring was coming, they scored a lot more than, 21 goals in that series. The scoring was coming from elsewhere, which is very interesting. Yeah.
But again, like that's the playoffs. Yeah. Like crazy things happen. It's a 7-game series where you get to figure out this team.
The Blues won the Cup a couple years back after being the worst team in the NHL in January. Yeah. Like crazy shit happens.
Yeah. No, it does. The Sharks in 2016. We didn't even make the playoffs in 2015. Yeah. And then we went to the Cup final. So it's like there's nothing can really prepare you. I think there's teams you can look at and be like, yeah, they're a contender. But it's not like it's for sure.
Anybody could fucking win. Yeah. Like Washington could go on. I don't think anybody's expecting Washington to come out of the East. They could go on a run. And
I think once you get out of the first round, though, anything's possible.
Literally anything.
Anything is possible.
Any of these teams, these are the 8 best teams in the NHL. Yep. Like any of these teams could win the Cup. Yeah. I don't think Toronto's going to do it. I don't think Washington's going to do it.
But they could.
But they absolutely could.
Yeah. And the thought is just what we think in, from what we've watched history too for the Toronto Maple Leafs. You got a lot of curses on you. So yeah, sorry, but that's just where my bias comes in. Fantastic teams, like you said, all the way around. So it's like all this is speculation, like what we think out of games played. But okay, so Avalanche, again, sucks for them. But I'm excited to watch the Stars, and like I'm still happy with it. Like I wanted the Avalanche to go on to the Cup final out of the West, but I'm happy with Dallas if they do that.
Absolutely,
and that's frankly the team that I want out of the West now. But another series was the Winnipeg Jets and the Blues.
That was an insane game. 7.
I would say that's the best series.
Tied up with 1 point something seconds left in game 7 to tie it, and then go on to win it in overtime. Yep. That's insane.
That was the best series, hands down. Every team that was at home won their game at home. Yeah. Like it was back and forth.
It's a great series for the fans.
Yes.
You paid your money. You saw your team win. Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah. That doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, and it was just so back and forth. And, I've had words for Hellebuyck, and I'll keep having words for Hellebuyck. He is just, I don't know how you can go from being like a Vezina, a great, fantastic regular season goalie. And don't get me wrong, he had amazing plays in that series against the Blues where it was like, okay, that's Hellebuyck right there. That's what they need. But then there's some shots where it just goes through him, and I'm like, dude, you are Swiss cheese right now in what should be the easiest round for you playing the wild card team. Yep. And now they have to go on and play the Stars.
So I will say, shaky first couple periods from what I watched. Mm-hmm. he did make 13 straight saves that he needed to make to win that game.
Right.
And at the end of the day, you can let in as many goals. Your goal is a goal. You're not supposed to shut out every single game.
No.
You're not supposed to, let in a goal every single game. The best goalies in the world let in 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Right? Somewhere between 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Sometimes what's really important is you make the saves that you have to make. You keep your team in it to the point where they're in overtime or whatever it is late in the game. You keep your team within a chance of winning, which is exactly what he did in this game. Mm-hmm. He made the saves that he was required to make, and they ended up winning. Yeah. And frankly, now, although the Jets put on a lot more shots.
Yeah, that's what I was, yeah.
They did put on 26, let's do the math here.
In overtime?
So it's 26 in the third period in the first overtime, and then 34 after the second period ended. They put on 34 shots after the second period ended. Benner led in 3 goals in that time frame. Yeah. Some points it doesn't really matter what the shots are or how many shots you're getting on. Like, you just need to make the saves or you lose, right? Yeah. And that's one of those things where they took 15 shots in the third period. They had 14 saves. They win that series. They're going on the second round. Yeah. But they got 13 saves. It's in overtime, and you let in a goal in the second overtime. Yep. Talk about clutch. Talk about whatever. I didn't watch the game, so I don't know if Hellebuck was making like diving saves, just the clutchest thing ever. Or if it's
I saw, it was just Winnipeg dominated the hell out of the Blues in overtime. Yep. And like Binnington played as much as you can ask for, because it's like at a certain point, like you can't point. I can't point at you if you're getting.
You can't.
I can't point at you. But like you said, Hellebuck, if he's making the saves he needs to.
This is how teams win Stanley Cups without elite goalies, is your goalie makes the saves at the right time. Yeah. Darcy Kemper wasn't letting in OT goals when they won the Stanley Cup, when the Avs won the Stanley Cup. Like, it's that kind of situation where you just need your goalie to make the saves you need them to make. Yeah. And they can let in whatever the fuck they want in regulation or before then, and it's fine.
My fear, though, is that if you're going up against the Stars now,
that's where it gets tough.
That's where it's like, okay, Hellebuck, you had a first, and maybe it's just a first round thing. They didn't play past first round last year. Yeah. Maybe he just needed to get settled in, and he could be a rock star for the next 7 games or however long this series goes.
I can't remember the last time the Jets made the second round.
Probably a couple years ago. I feel like it hasn't been that long.
I don't know.
The power of phones. We can look it up,
but, whatever.
Yeah.
Too much work.
Yeah. No, but like, I mean, I just think that if I was a Jets fan, that's like my one thing I'm scared about is like.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. You're scared of Hellebuck. Yeah.
You're scared of Hellebuck.
Yeah.
I will say it's not a good sign when you're playing an away game and the opposing team's fans are chanting after you get pulled, Hellebuck or Connor, bring back Connor.
Yeah.
That's not a good sign.
No.
But at the same time, crunch time mattered. OT game 7, he made 9 saves. Yep. And that's all you needed him to make. That's exactly what you needed him to make. He did not let in a goal, and the Jets scored. Mm-hmm. Whether that's the Jets just completely outplaying the Blues because they're a way better team or not. Should that series have been 7 games? Probably not.
I don't think so, yeah.
But game 7, crunch time and overtime, double overtime, he made 5 saves. Yeah. That's what you need him to make, and then they won the game. So
yeah. No, I think that's what scares me, is like you got to play the Blues, and granted they're a great team. Yeah. They could have been in this spot. Just one shot. They were one shot away, or one stop away, frankly, from 1.6 seconds away from continuing. But yeah, it's like now you've got the Stars, and it's like you've got to outplay the Stars now if you're not that you can't rely on Hellebuck, because that's the thing. Like, he's a great goalie, but that's the only fear I would have as a Jets fan is like, we just need to outplay the Stars, but then say that sentence out loud. We just need to outplay the Stars.
I'm curious as to when Robertson and Heiskanen are coming back.
That too. If they come back game 3, game 2, like
that's a series different. That is a different series if those two guys are back. Even if one of them is back, that is a completely different series. And we were talking about at the beginning of this. The Stars, if any team is going to lose 2, frankly, superstar players, like that team can kind of handle it. Yeah. And they did. They played the Colorado Avalanche
They just got
beat
another
them.
one who came alive in Mikko Rantanen.
Yeah, now you have Mikko Rantanen who's put up, I think it's 11 points in the last 2 games he's played, or 3 games he's played.
Jesus, yeah.
That's terrifying.
Yep.
You add Robertson and Heiskanen back into that mix. That is a scary fucking team. That is the team. By the way, the bad word, the cuss word was penis.
Yeah, I forgot. I was going to say something.
I completely forgot.
If you skipped ahead and didn't see that, well, it was the beginning of the video, but yeah, penis. Anyways.
Penis. Either way, that's a scary team to play. I don't see the Jets beating them. Yeah. And I like the Jets. I'm if any Canadian hockey team wins the Stanley Cup, I hope it's the Jets.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I feel like that franchise has had nothing but bad luck and shit teams their entire existence, dating back to Atlanta.
Yeah. Well, like you have a franchise, then you lose them. Yeah. And then that franchise as a whole, the Thrashers, then come out to you, and then it's like there's really nothing.
They're probably the most passionate fans in the NHL.
Dude, the whiteouts are amazing.
That's insane. That's an insane atmosphere. Yeah. For Dallas, they have to go into that, minimum of 2 games, if not 4 games, right? That's kind of a scary atmosphere to go into, especially you watch Dallas Stars games, their fans are into it. Yeah. They're not quite that into it.
True.
So
it's a different atmosphere. I mean, it's Canadian hockey market versus American hockey market. Yeah. Granted, a Southern American hockey market.
I've also been to that Colorado Avalanche stadium that they just played 3 games in. Yeah. When the Avalanche get down, that is a quiet stadium.
Really?
It is. I don't know if it's a huge building. So it's Ball Arena. Yeah. Ball Arena is 3 tiers. There's 3 decks. And when you're at the top deck, which is typically the most loud, into it, drunk fans, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That place gets quiet.
Really?
Yes. So I actually went to a funny enough
playoff game.
No, but I went to a Avs Jets game last year. Oh. Given the Avs got fucking stomped 7-0. Yeah. But after 1 goal, that place was silent. Yeah. And it's like, that's a whole different atmosphere to going into Winnipeg's arena, which is a smaller arena. I think it seats just under 16,000 people. Yeah. And every single person there is a diehard Jets fan. That is a whole different situation to be in. But
it's different for playoffs. Like playoff atmosphere is so different.
Dallas.
Yeah.
Dallas is still so good, and now they have Mikko Rantanen. This team, we were talking about this team being unbelievably good, and it being a shame that they matched up with Colorado in the first round, even without Robertson and Heiskanen. Now you have Mikko Rantanen, who wasn't doing anything before the past 3 games, and he's put up 3 points, 4 points, and 4 points, including a hat trick in the 3rd period of Game 7. That's insane. Yeah. That's a scary fucking team.
It is.
I don't see any team out of the West beating them, but I think Dallas is moving on past Winnipeg.
I agree.
I think it's going to be handily.
I think it's going to be. See, this is so tough. This is the tough part because it's like based off of last round. We're going to base it off of last round. Yeah. Seeing how the Jets have played, they dominated the Blues, and that's more of how they won games. It wasn't fantastic goaltending by any means. Sure, there were some games he played great, but when they lost in pretty bad fashion. Yeah. And the Stars are going to be, it's going to be tough.
They're a team that can pour it on in all 4 lines. Yep. And yeah, I think the Jets' speed could help them.
Yeah, I agree.
And they're a fast team.
Either of these teams, I don't think it's a confident pick between either of these teams for me. Yeah. I think that personally, I'm swaying more towards the Stars. Yeah. Because I do feel, like you said, they're just star power and firepower in general is a lot better. I liked what I saw at Ottinger for the most part, except for a couple games here and there. But again, for me, I've been going off goalies a lot. Yeah. These playoffs and seeing, how those goalies play. And I think for Winnipeg in that Game 7, in that overtime, they won that game not because of Hellebuyck, but because they just dominated the Blues in overtime. Yeah. Could have gone the other way if the Blues had a chance, but they didn't. And frankly, that's how they got there. And I think this series will be fun, though. Yeah. And I could see it going to 6 or 7. But again, the playoffs are so tough. This could be a 4-game sweep for the Stars. We don't even know.
Yeah, it could be a 4-game sweep for the Jets.
It could be. Yeah, exactly.
Watch Connor Hellebuyck have 4 shutouts in a row. He could. He's still, when he's on his game, he's the best goalie in the world. Yeah,
that's the thing, too. It's like the scary thing now, if you want to go on the Stars side, you have to play against Connor Hellebuyck.
Yeah.
Who got past the first round. He's had some shaky first rounds in the years past.
He has.
But now we get to see him shaking off. He's like, okay, we got past the first series, got past, maybe he's got a personal jinx in the first round. Who knows? He's past that now. The minute he turns it on, the Stars team could crumble and be 4-0 Jets.
It's going to be a very interesting. Also, side note, we are 3 minutes and 30 seconds in. The Leafs have 1 shot on goal, and it's 1-0 Maple Leafs.
Really?
Over the Panthers. Yeah, sorry.
Bobby,
just opened that up. Anyways.
Yeah, we'll check on that as we go down. Yeah. All right, well, let's jump to the other team in the West, other matchup, Knights and Oilers, which the Knights are a bit of the Oilers' kryptonite in the playoffs, at least within the last couple years. The Knights didn't even make it past round 1 last year, so they didn't have to play them.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this series.
These were the 2 most entertaining, up until Game 7 of the other Western Conference round 1 series.
Yeah.
These were by far the 2 most entertaining
I agree.
hockey series to watch.
Yep.
The Knights Wild series was super fun, super fast paced. Great goaltending. Great scoring was tough to come by. It was just good hockey.
Yeah.
Very fun to watch. The Kings Oilers series was so entertaining.
Yeah.
Just every bit of, there was comebacks. There was a lot of scoring.
Yeah.
There was a storyline with Stuart Skinner getting benched, Calvin Pickard taking over.
Yeah.
There was a storyline of the Kings probably should have at some point benched Darcy Kemper.
Yeah.
Those were 2 very, very fun playoff series to watch. I have a feeling this is going to be a really boring series.
Really?
And the Knights are going to walk over the Oilers.
Okay.
Because playing Calvin Pickard against the Kings is a whole... The Kings basically dominated the regular season. Not even dominated. They snuck by in the regular season getting 20 shots on a game.
Yeah.
Right? And outscoring their opponents, putting 10 shots on net, right? 20 shots on net. Vegas is a dominant fucking team.
They are.
They control the puck. Every single line of players they have is great. They play a very, very just like control heavy, get lots of shots on net and score a lot of goals kind of play. And their defense is also suffocating. This could all be just hogwash because McDavid and Draisaitl could go off and have 20 points in the series. Who knows? But
that's what I was going to say. I was like, it's so tough to like write off the Oilers at this point. I've done it the last 2 seasons we've done this podcast. I've wrote them off completely. And I'm going to write them off again.
I see Vegas walking over them.
I do.
I see him dog walking him.
I don't know about dog walk.
5 games.
I want to see... I want to see Calvin Pickard and what he's made of. I want to see if he really is a dog.
I just want to
see it. He may not be.
I don't think he is.
I just want to see it because he looked a lot better than Skinner.
Yeah.
And I think if Skinner was in net, I would say Knights in 4. Knights in 3.
Yeah.
Oilers would like give up game 4 and just not even want to play. But with Calvin Pickard in net now, I just want to see how this goes out. And like we said, that depth scoring is important, and the Oilers had that last series.
It's interesting because this Oilers team kind of fits the Oilers like heritage of being a team that's just, I'm going to score more goals than you.
Yeah.
I need a goalie who can keep some pucks out of the net.
Yeah.
Right? And with Stuart Skinner, he wasn't keeping any pucks out of the net, which was the problem. Calvin Pickard can keep some pucks out of that. He's still not an NHL starting goalie.
Yeah.
As much as I like to talk
but
trash.
Adin Hill did the same thing. Adin Hill was...
I love talking trash about Adin Hill.
Oh, I know.
I think he's the worst best starting goalie in the NHL. Like, the guy can stop pucks.
Yeah.
The thing is, Vegas has a whole lot more complete of a team than Edmonton does.
Yeah, true.
Every single thing that Edmonton shines in, Vegas is just slightly better in.
Yeah.
Besides maybe having a guy who can put up 150 points. That's the only thing that Vegas does not have over Edmonton.
Yeah.
And McDavid could completely take control of the series. He's going to have to if they're going to get past the second round, because Vegas is also a team I feel like I've just written off this year.
Yeah, that too.
I see Vegas, they could very easily go and win a Stanley Cup here.
Yeah.
They have a team that's built for it. They have for the last few years, and they've kind of fallen short, which is funny.
Again, last year they played the Stars in the first round. That went to 7 games.
Yeah.
So it's like, again, the playoff format, we can bitch about that all we want, but like...
I think this is kind of just a product of the West being so good.
Yeah.
It's like you look at any of these series, any of these teams were fantastic.
They were. Besides
maybe St. Louis, but even that St. Louis team...
They weren't bad.
They weren't bad. They were great hockey. I think they beat Ottawa. I think they beat New Jersey. I think they beat Montreal pretty handily.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know how to predict the series besides Vegas is going to dog walk them. I think they're that much better than Edmonton, but I could absolutely see Edmonton also beating them in like 5 games.
Yeah. I know, that's the scary thing.
If McDavid gets going, that guy is a locomotive. He's running through anything in his path.
Well, that's the thing. Like, even like...
It's not like he's not going.
Last year, Stanley Cup final. Like, they almost came back. Like, obviously, history book, there's no asterisk there that the Edmonton Oilers almost completed a 4-game comeback.
Yeah.
But still, like, for the sake of this, it's still a quality team.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to write them off. But I just feel more confident in the Knights.
Yeah.
And what they can do, what they've shown they can do. The Wild team wasn't a bad team by any means.
No. They were good.
They were fantastic.
Boldy and Kaprizov went off.
Yeah. But I think the Knights just played better.
Yeah.
I think this series, I don't think it's going to be a dog walk for the Knights, though. I think it'll be a 6 or 7 game series.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a 5-game series, I think it's close games. If it's a 4-game sweep or like 5-game series, it's going to be like 3 overtime games and 1 1-goal game.
It's just
so on.
It's games that Vegas is winning because they have a better team.
Right.
That McDavid and Draisaitl are keeping the Oilers in. I think that's how this series is going to go.
I agree.
Is those guys will probably continue to produce like they normally do.
Yeah. And Vegas defense, like...
There's no stopping Vegas's third line playing Matthias Janmark. Like, it's just... I just don't see it. I think Adin Hill's a better goalie.
Yeah.
Even though I love to shit on Adin Hill. Yeah. I see Adin Hill and Stuart Skinner as the same goalie.
Really?
I see them as the exact same goalie. They have the same problems. They have the same upside, right? They have the same talent. Just Adin Hill's a little bit better.
Yeah, and Adin Hill
probably
has
a
fantastic defense behind him.
He also does have
in front of him
30 times better of a defense, especially without Matthias Ekholm.
Yeah.
Right? Edmonton is playing this without... I don't know if he's going to come back for round 2. But as of right now, to my knowledge, they're playing this without Matthias Ekholm, and that's a huge loss.
Yeah, well, that is.
To be playing without.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, again, we haven't watched a single game out of these teams to really say. Yeah. Next week, we'll be able to have a little bit more of a picture of like what's going to happen.
Watch them mop them like 7-1.
I know. If it's
both games at home, we're just, I'm fucking stupid.
Yeah. No, we kind of are. But you know what? That's what's fun about this is even PK Subban is stupid. Did you see PK Subban's? He picked out of the first round. He picked the Devils.
No way.
The Canadians.
He played for the Devils and the Canadians.
Yeah. He picked the Lightning. He picked the Senators. He picked the Blues. He picked the Avalanche, and I believe he picked the Knights and the Kings.
That's funny.
He went 1 for 7.
That's hilarious.
So, like, again, it just shows, I think some of those Eastern Conference picks were really stupid.
Yeah.
But out of the West, I don't really criticize
It's all tight.
Yeah.
Any of the 4 teams remaining in the West could win the Stanley Cup very easily.
Yeah.
I could see it happening with any of these teams. Connor Hellebuyck goes on a run, the Jets are winning.
Yep. Yeah. Honestly, all 4 of those, that's a good point. All 4 of those Western teams. And I think even before that.
Yeah.
All those 4, like all the 8, or what? Yeah. All the 8 Western teams that were in it.
I could see them winning a cup.
They kind of had a chance at some point.
St. Louis already quite literally did that, coming in as the worst team in the West and winning a cup, right?
They were 1.6 seconds away.
That was a wildly different team, but I could still see them do that.
Yeah.
Colorado, Dallas, these teams are cup contenders. That series went 7 games for a reason.
Yeah, I agree.
Vegas, they could easily win a cup. Minnesota, if they went on a heater, Philip Gustafson got hot, I could easily see them winning a cup.
Yeah.
Right? LA, I can see them going deep for sure. I don't know with Darcy Kemper, could they have won a cup?
Yeah.
But that team could score goals, taking minimal shots on net, so I could see them.
Yeah.
I can see them getting there. In Edmonton, they almost did last year.
Yeah.
With a very similar roster makeup, like zero changes to their roster for some goddamn reason.
Yeah.
Why didn't you make a trade for a goalie at the deadline? I know they're in the second round.
Yeah.
Why didn't you make a trade for the goalie at the deadline? Any of them. Any goalie.
I think
make an offer.
I think they tried for Blackwood, but failed.
Make a better offer.
Yeah. I know. You need something. It's true. And we'll see.
14 first-round picks. They're not going to be worth anything. You have McDavid and Draisaitl. You're going to be in the playoffs for the next 15 years.
And if you don't do anything, David's going to walk.
Yeah.
So if you don't get any, if they, which can be a segment in the offseason talking about McDavid, but that team needs to make the Stanley Cup Finals minimum again and go to Game 7. Minimum.
They need to win.
Yeah, they do.
They need to keep those guys. You can't let McDavid or Draisaitl walk.
Well, Draisaitl's locked in, unless he asks for a trade.
He could. Who wants to be bounced handily because your team doesn't make any moves?
Yeah, no, it's true.
Nobody does, especially, 5 years in a row, 6 years in a row?
Yeah.
I think they missed one time, like 2019 or 2018, something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, figure it out, dude.
Yeah.
Either way.
All right, move on to the East Coast. We'll do the Capitals and Hurricanes first. I feel like we can talk about this pretty quickly.
Yeah. I think everybody with a brain kind of predicted this.
Yeah.
Carolina playing New Jersey, missing their best player.
Yeah.
A lot of their core guys were out and injured, and they were kind of running. They were already a team that was going downhill at the end of the regular season.
Yeah.
That sucks for the Devils. You're missing Jack Hughes for half the year.
Yeah.
And you're not getting him back, and he's one of the best players in the NHL. He's by far the best player on your team. You're not getting him back. That's a huge blow. Carolina should handily beat them.
Yeah.
In 10 times out of 10, they should beat them 10.
Yep. I think for this series, though, I think this one's kind of a toss-up for me. I could see either of these teams winning. I want to lean towards the Capitals because I'd love to see Ovi keep on playing playoff hockey. But the Hurricanes do have a chance to go to the third round.
Well, here's the thing. The Hurricanes kind of remind me, I think we've talked about this before. The Hurricanes really remind me of the Sharks of the 2010s.
Yep.
Late 2000s, 2010s. Because year in, year out, they're a fantastic hockey team. They're extremely competitive. They're vying for the number one overall in the East, right? Mm-hmm. Every year, it seems like. Yeah. And every year they kind of start to slow down, stutter, and fall apart in the second round.
Yep.
This team is still a phenomenal hockey team.
Yeah.
They
they look great.
What we've talked about before, they have the best defenseman in the NHL in Jacob Slavin. They have an insanely deep roster. Your captain and one of your better players, definitely one of your better goal scorers, playing on the third line, Jordan Stahl.
Yeah.
Like, you have a great team, and when Frederik Andersen is healthy and playing well, he's one of the best goalies. And when he's healthy, he's one of the best goalies in the NHL. The thing is, he can't play healthy. He can't stay healthy. I think he's injured right now. Mm-hmm. So really, to me, this kind of buys on if Pyotr Kochetkov can kind of maintain what Frederik Andersen is able to do.
Yeah.
If he can, I don't see this team losing to Washington. I'm not sure if I see him being able to maintain that, because Frederik Andersen, year in, year out, has been fantastic.
Yeah.
And he's a huge reason why the Canes are so good. The regular season's a little bit different. They kind of play playoff hockey year round, right? And when you have Frederik Andersen playing healthy and to the best of his ability, that team's unstoppable. Like, every single team you could think of is probably losing to Carolina. The problem is they have a unproven young goalie right now who now has to play the Washington Capitals, who their team might not look as good on paper. I don't think they look anywhere near as good, but that is a good, close-knit, again, talking about this, very close hockey team that's going to be completely 100% bought into their system and playing it as best as it possibly works out, right?
Yeah.
Whether or not he's as good as he used to be, you have the best goal scorer of all time on the ice. Mm-hmm. You have a underrated first line with Dylan Strome. I could easily see the Caps winning solely because Kochetkov can't keep up.
Yeah.
And the Canes start to fall apart like they do every year. But maybe this is the year of curses being broken. The Winnipeg Jets got out of the first round.
Leafs got around
the Leafs got out of the first round. The Caps almost won the fucking President's Trophy.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who really knows? I think I'm taking the Caps in 6, or the Canes in 6, pardon me.
Yeah.
I don't think the Caps do make it out of the series.
Yeah.
I would love for them to, but
I want to ride with them too because I feel like you said this is their year, and not that I just feel like the Capitals are tired.
Yeah.
They're an older team, kind of a little bit.
They are.
But I like the Hurricanes a little bit better in this series. But again, this one's really hard for me because it could truly go either way.
We didn't see either of them really tested.
That too. They played both pretty weak teams.
Probably the worst teams in the playoffs.
Yes.
They played the 2 worst teams in the playoffs. And that's not to shit on Montreal or New Jersey. New Jersey, you were injury riddled. Montreal, your average player age is 22.
Exactly.
And
you
you
should
can't
be happy. The Canadians should not have made the playoffs this year, and they did. So it's fantastic what they did.
The Devils, that's just tough luck.
Yes.
That's the injury bug bit you hard, and your worst player is injured, or your best player is injured.
Yeah. But yeah, they have been tested.
They both kind of got a free pass to the second round.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it was free, but it was basically free.
Yeah. They both finished in 5, so yeah.
They both were not really tested as teams. I think this is kind of the series to prove who's going to be coming out of or at least playing Florida, but I don't know. This series is hard to call. I think Carolina's going to win.
Carolina. We're going to stick with Carolina.
Right in Carolina.
All right, next one. This is the juicy one. Maple Leafs and Panthers. I'm super excited for this series. I think
we want Florida.
Out of the West, both those series are going to be pretty good. But this one, I'm a little scared as a Panthers bandwagon. A little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Only because there is so much doubt on this team, and the Panthers are heavily favored.
Yeah.
The Panthers have played well when they're the underdog, and I think they were the underdog last series.
Yeah.
A lot of people wrote them off as oh, they're not the same. This Tampa Bay Lightning team's so good. Me being the puck knower, I knew was this is an easy Panthers. This is an easy pick for the Panthers. It wasn't.
Side note, Sean knows puck. Alan does not. I don't know puck.
No, you had a couple. I think you got Winnipeg, right?
I got Winnipeg. I got Vegas.
We both
Carolina, Washington.
Yeah.
So I got Panthers, 4 at it. I went 4 for 8. I did not do very well.
Well, the only one we disagreed on was that Panthers one.
Yeah.
Everything else, for the most part, we were it's pretty confident, especially Washington, Carolina, all that stuff.
That's easy.
The West, we were we don't know what's going to happen because these are all great teams. But
either way,
Panthers, I think, are now in the hot seat. Not hot seat. They are in the driver's seat, just in terms of we have this series. This is our series.
The way you can look at it too is I think most people who are not Toronto fans saw Tampa and Florida as a better team than Toronto.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just the whole 1967 curse. They haven't made it out of the first round since 2002 or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just that, but I think most never made people it out of the second round since 1967.
Since I want to say the last time they played 3 rounds of hockey was when they won the Stanley Cup, because back then it only took them 3 rounds of hockey.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Either way,
could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's correct.
Either way, that's insane. I think most people saw Tampa as a better team than Toronto, and Florida just handled them.
Yes.
Right? Completely fucking handled them.
Yeah.
I don't see Toronto winning more than 2 games in this series. Again, this could be a completely awful take. Toronto's got a chip on their shoulder.
Yes.
The core 4 finally showed up in a game 7.
That's
huge. Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, they're some of the best players in the world.
Yep.
Right.
It is 2-0.
Toronto has
2-0 Toronto right now with 7 minutes left in the first period. They have currently 6 shots on goal though. And again, it's game 1. I'm not saying that just because they're down. Like you said, they do. The Maple Leafs have a chip on their shoulder, and I think this is the team that's finally playing like a good playoff team.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, they lost a couple to the Senators, and we were kind of making fun of them, being like they could choke this, and they very well could have. That game was still very close. It was not, the scoreboard reflected differently because it was tied within like 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
And then they scored a goal and then an empty net goal. So this Maple Leafs team is the best I think that we've seen in the playoffs within the last 4 or 5 years with this core four.
Yeah.
Like you said, they're performing. The Panthers, I think, are a fantastic team, though. And even if they do drop a game to them, game one, say, you're in Toronto, playing there, I would say the least loudest Canadian market.
It's because it's all suits in the front rows.
Correct. I know you fans out on the deck.
Oh, yeah.
Or those rowdy fans. Love you guys. But
yeah,
I just think my pick for the Panthers going far to win the Stanley Cup this year is a little in jeopardy with this round. I think if the Panthers or Maple Leafs get to the next round, I think they have an easy shot there, whoever they play.
I will say this. If Toronto makes it out of this round, I think they have a very, very high likelihood of winning the Cup.
I do too.
If they can get over this hump, hey, we've actually won a couple playoffs, especially if they can deal with the Florida Panthers. Like, not have a close, you should have lost 4 games, 5 games, but you won in 7.
Yeah. Even then, even if it's a close series, I mean, that's still impressive.
I think they win the Cup, frankly, if they get out of the series. I don't think they get out of the series, though.
Yeah.
But it would make sense.
I would be willing to hop on the wagon with you crazy Leafs fans if they can get past the Panthers, because that is like the ultimate test right there. If you can get past the Panthers, it's yours, frankly.
I'm a huge Austin Matthews fan.
That too.
I would love to see. I love the kind of. I hate it because McDavid's better than him, but I love that kind of argument. Is your best player is worse than our best player? Blah blah blah.
Oh my god! If it's Toronto versus Edmonton, I'm going Toronto 100%.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is crazy coming out of my mouth because I've said some bad things about Toronto as a team. But
hypothetical here, I think they win that series.
Toronto?
Yeah,
100%.
Toronto. They have the same problems, right? Neither team has a goalie. Anthony Stolarz has been fantastic this year. Neither team has a goalie.
Yeah.
Right. Both teams are a little weak on the backside, right? They have very good forward. They have very good two first forward lines. Yeah. I think Toronto is a deeper team. I think they probably win that series if they do play. The thing is, even if Toronto makes it to the Cup final, right? They get out of a weaker Eastern Conference, because that has been one of the things that's been kind of biting Toronto. Is like, oh, you're in the playoffs. You got the 1 seed. You're playing Boston.
Yeah.
Or, oh, you're in the playoffs. You have the 2 seed. You're playing Florida.
Yeah.
You're playing Tampa.
They played the Islanders to get past the first round and then got 5 game.
Yeah.
They got worked.
They got worked by Florida. Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, even if they make it to the Cup final, you're now playing one of Winnipeg with probably an elite Connor Hellebuck again, Dallas, Vegas, or Edmonton.
Yeah.
That's a fucking tough. That's just tough.
Yeah. It is.
If you're Toronto, you probably hope it's either Vegas, or you probably hope it's either Edmonton or Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which Winnipeg just won they just won the President's Trophy as the best team in the NHL in the regular season, and Edmonton is coming off of a Stanley Cup Finals appearance where they lost in 7 games to the Panthers. Like, it's just a tough situation for Toronto to be in.
Yeah, but
I'd see Florida in the series. So
I do too. I mean, I think ultimately they're going to get it done. I think for the plot of hockey and just like getting that curse off their back, because the NHL is amazing, but if the Leafs were somehow like a top team, like in the playoffs, a top team in the NHL, I think it'd make for a good playoff story, having Austin Matthews lift that cup, and then he leaves and comes to America where he belongs.
He comes to the San Jose Sharks. Yeah. Let's go, baby.
But yeah, to see that unfold would be cool. However, Panthers in 5.
Yeah.
So which could be dumb too. I mean, I could see this series going far.
What are our matchups in the third round? We're taking Dallas, Vegas.
Yes.
And then
Panthers, Carolina.
Yeah. Panthers, Hurricanes.
We'll see.
I'm sure we're going to get 4 for 4 wrong. It's going to be Toronto, Washington, Edmonton, and Winnipeg.
Yeah, and only because I think we get that Carolina one right. Even then, though, like I feel like all these series are so tossed up.
That Carolina, I have the same feeling about Carolina as I do about the Leafs in the second round. It's like Carolina has made the second round for like the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Right?
And then when they made the third round to the Panthers, they got swept.
Yeah.
In close games, but they got swept.
It's like I just don't see them. I just don't see this roster. And unless they make that jump, Pyotr Kochetkov is able to be that guy, right?
Yeah.
And take over for Freddie Anderson, who they just re-signed, funny enough. I don't know if you saw that re-signing. Carolina just re-signed Freddie Anderson. I think it was a 2-year deal, like $2.75 million.
Yeah.
Which is crazy cheap for Freddie Anderson when he's playing how he can.
Yeah.
But they have games played requirements for bonuses. So he's got like $750,000 on the table. If he plays 35 plus games, he has a $250K bonus. If he plays 40 plus games, it's $250K bonus. And then it's like if they make it to the third round of the playoffs or something like that with him starting most of the games, he gets another $250K bonus, which I find hilarious.
Yeah, that is.
So they're just like, please play, man.
Yeah.
Please play. We need you to play.
Yeah. That's funny.
That's funny.
Yeah. All right. Well, that wraps up round 2 talk. And again, next week we'll be able to kind of have a better grasp of everything, just seeing these teams play.
Yeah.
Maybe change our picks up a little bit. We can, because it's our podcast. We're allowed to do what the fuck we want.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so then
we can say penis if we want to.
Exactly. Just not in the first 2 minutes.
YouTube.
Ready for your game?
I'm ready for my game.
Okay. All right. So this is Would You Rather Pick a Career Edition for the NHL.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you 2 players. I'm going to give you some accolades, some stats, all this stuff that they have. You're going to pick which player you want to take over the life of. Like,
are these actual players?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Actual players. Okay.
Are these random players?
Random as in?
Like, is Matthias Janmark's career going to be on here? Someone like that?
No, but there is a red herring in here. Do you know what a red herring is?
No.
A red herring is
sort of
what they almost like there's one player that's like easily like, yeah, I'd want to be this player. And there's one player where you're going to be like, oh shit.
Yeah.
But the stats I'm reading to you are not that far off. So you're going to have to figure out. I'm not going to give you any years these players won these accolades. I'm not going to give you any teams they played for. No hints. You just got to pick off of what I'm giving you. Okay.
Okay.
So player A played 16 NHL he played 16 NHL seasons. He's got 3 Stanley Cups. He's got a Conn Smythe trophy and a Selke trophy. He has over 850 points and just over 100 playoff points. He's got 2 Olympic gold medals, and his career earnings are $119.36 million. That's player A.
You said 3 Stanley Cups?
Yep. 3 Stanley Cups.
I'm trying to think of who this would be. Oh, I know exactly who it is.
Okay.
I know who it is. Okay, come on.
Okay. Player B, 20 NHL seasons. He's got 1 Stanley Cup. He's got 1 Hart Memorial Trophy, 1 Rocket Richard Trophy. He has 400 plus career goals and over 900 career points. He's got 130 playoff points. And he's got 2 Olympic gold medals. His career earnings are around $101 million. With that being said, which player would you like to be?
I think player A. I know who both of these guys are. At least I think.
Really? Okay.
I think it'd be player A. The first player is Jonathan Toews.
Okay.
And the second player is Corey Perry.
Damn. Puck knower. Puck knower right there. This guy is like a Wikipedia when it comes to those like stats and stuff like that. That is exactly who it was.
Let's go. Yeah, I'm taking Jonathan Toews.
Wow. I was trying to like think of things that would throw you off and just like what sold it for you, or like what made you know each player was what?
20 seasons with, did you say 1 Stanley Cup?
Yeah.
I was trying to think of guys who have played a long ass time. My immediate thought was like Sharks players.
Yeah.
And I guess that second player that could have been would have been like Eric Stahl.
Yeah.
I don't know if that all fits. I don't think he ever won.
Oh,
he never won a Hart.
I don't think he won. Did he win a Rocket?
I don't think so. Okay. Either way, I don't know. Combination of stats, put it together.
Yeah, that was awesome. Damn, okay. I thought I was going to be able to trump him a little bit and just...
I think the 2 gold medals, too, kind of helped, because I don't know Olympic gold specifically, because it's been kind of weird with the NHL going to the Olympics over the course of... So it's basically like...
That too, yeah. That
late 90s and on. I don't remember. Yeah. I think Canada's only won 2 back-to-back Olympic golds with NHL players going.
Yeah.
So that kind of that gave it away a little bit. I was trying to think of players who are on those teams.
I want to make it tougher next time for you when I do it.
That's a good one though.
Because I know you know all that stuff. And I think I should have left out the Olympic gold medals. Because that kind of gives you... That
was a teller.
That tells you that it's prior to like an early career. I was kind of trying to see if maybe you got to keep off the career length, but like the Stanley Cups... For 3, I was like, maybe he'll think it's Crosby.
Yeah, that was my immediate thought. But then you said 16 seasons. I was like, well, he just had like 20 seasons straight with point per game. So probably not that guy.
Yeah, that was
that's a good one.
Yeah, that was good. All right, let's do a final checkup. I think the Panthers scored. Oh, it's 3-1 now.
Oh, wow.
Maple Leafs and Panthers. So first period just ended. Nylander's got 2 goals. Seth Jones with the goal too as well. Look at that.
Oh, it was 3-0 at one point.
Yeah. Wait, no. It was 2-1.
Why is NHL out of order? The NHL app has it. William Nylander scored to make it 1-0. William Nylander scored to make it 2-0. Morgan Riley scored to make it 3-1, and then Seth Jones scored to make it 2-1. I don't know why they did that, but
that's funny.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right. Well, everyone, thanks for listening to episode 70. We'll be back next week to talk more playoffs. If you guys have anything you want us to cover or anything like that, DM us on Instagram or leave a comment down below. Trying to get you guys involved more. Follow the Instagram if you aren't already at Good Old Hockey Podcast. There's a bunch of links down below to follow us. But yeah, get talking to us, and then we can start answering some questions too. If you guys think of something that you want us to hear us talk about for whatever reason, throw it down there.
Heck yeah.
Give us our thoughts. But Alan, I'm excited. Let's go watch this Toronto game.
Heck yeah.
And hopefully the Panthers can win so we don't look like complete idiots.
Let's go Cats, baby. Watch Toronto sweep the Panthers.
That'd be crazy.